Whoa, hey, I didn't see you there. Wait, you think you could just rock up on one of my personal rides and I won't notice? Can't show up on Yami like that. All right. Well, since you're here, I'll try to bestow some knowledge upon you while I'm on my desert sled. Let's talk about track days. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. I think everyone benefits from track days, but not in the same way. I think that everyone can benefit from going to the track and exploring their limits and having fun on their motorcycle, but it can really depend, and your mileage may vary on what you're going to get out of it. Because I think some people show up to track days and think that they're going to become way faster, better street riders, but that doesn't always happen. That's not always the case of what you're meant to get out of a track day. So today I'm going to try to walk you through why I think you should be going to one, what you're going to get out of one, and just anything else I can think about it. But first, we're going to tackle a scrambly little bit of dirt because we're on a personal bike today, and I feel like it. Oh, I adore this motorcycle. Nothing quite like it, man. Love this thing. Oh, whack some bush here. 10 700, eat your heart out, man. Go down this little bit here. Kick up a little dust, baby. Always a fun time on this bike. Always a fun time. Oh, you're still here. Okay, well, let me help you out. So I think the first thing that can happen when you go to your first track day is you're gonna start to realize how much more there is in your motorcycle than, number one, you're capable of accessing, and number two, you're going to want to access on the street. Because at least for me, for my first track day, and to give you guys some background on me, I've done probably about 80 days at the track. I'm a level 3 rider, A group rider at this point, and I currently race in CMRA, so I have a racing license. I participate in the novice class, which, don't let the name fool you, there's some super fast people in novice classes, and I normally finish mid-pack in my races, but I have won one race before, so it can happen. So that's my background on it. But when I started doing track days about 4.5 years ago, the first thing that I noticed when I came off the track and back on the street was how silly it was to push on the street. And at the time, I had a Daytona 765. Nope, I had a 675R, not a 765. That'd be crazy. They weren't out yet back then. And I rode like a sort of a street squid a lot, and I tried to ride fast on the street with whatever understanding I had of motorcycling at the time. And it took me a while to realize that when it comes to street motorcycling, you know, there's no fast. There's no, you know, try to drag a knee around a corner type of thing. All there is just safe. You just want to be safe on the street. And as time went on, I progressed to more upright, comfortable, torquey bikes like my lovable desert sled here that I just got back from Desmo service and that I paid Ducati Austin a hefty premium for the pleasure of doing so. And that was kind of my journey, and then I started, you know, getting into racing and doing all that stuff, and I realized that those two exist in very separate worlds to me. But for those of you who are dabbling in wanting to go fast on the street and then dabbling in track days, that's the first thing you're going to notice. At least that has to happen with me. As you progress in your track day journeys and you start leveling up through, you know, your level 1s, your level 2, that kind of stuff, you're going to start to realize that a lot of the techniques you start picking up at track days don't exactly apply for street riding, really. You know, stuff like going wide open at the apex and carrying as much speed as you possibly can, trail braking super hard in the corners. That's fine when you have tons of runoff. That's fine whenever, you know, you got plenty of space to explore the limits of traction for your machine, but it's totally not fine if you are on the street and you're searching for traction. You know, that's not good. Literally the other day I was out about 40 minutes east of here at a little off-road area, and I was still on the street getting to the off-road area, and I wasn't really paying attention, and there was a patch of sand in the middle, and I completely got caught out by the sand. I didn't crash my bike, thankfully, because I've been riding for a while and I know what to do in low grip situations, but still completely slided the bike through this intersection of this patch of sand, and I was like, whoa, what happened? You know, I didn't even see it. I wasn't paying attention. And so that to me is such a clear sign that on the road that there is no going fast, there is no racing, and that's the first thing you're going to notice. And then again, as you pick up technique and time goes on, the techniques that you understand at the racetrack just don't apply for street riding. And so I think there's one of two things that happens with people who start getting serious about track days and racing and that kind of stuff. Either you go down the path of realizing that the street is no place to do that, and that it's kind of silly to do that, and you are, you know, a little more mature and you understand the risks involved, or you start applying those track day techniques on the street and you accelerate your path to getting killed on the street. And I speak from experience because that is what happened with me. I had attended about 3 or 4 track days whenever I was wearing a full suit down here in Austin, and I had a very unfortunate accident where I was on the wrong side of the road and collided with a automobile. And it was a very stupid decision and a very stupid thing that I did, and I paid a very high price for it and almost lost my life. So for you guys that are sport oriented, you want to have fun on a motorcycle, you like going fast, I totally get that. I am right there with you. One of the best things about motorcycling is how immediate these machines are and all the cool stuff that they can do and how incredible their power to weight ratios are. I mean, even something like this desert sled will smoke probably like 80% of automobiles on the road from a standing start. You know, they're just absolutely silly, and they're a lot of fun, but you gotta know when to have the fun. You can't have fun at the wrong time, otherwise you will get chopped up and you will have a very bad day on your ride. You know, I speak from experience here, guys. We recently had a Discord member pass away because of an accident on the street. He unfortunately collided with the car in an intersection. I don't know the particulars, but you know, I don't like hearing about riders going down. It just, you know, it just really upsets me. And you know, I donated to their funeral services, and I just wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. And then the other day, I had a guy I knew at Eagles Canyon Raceway, where I'm a member. He was chasing a certain number on his lap timer, and he was on his pretty much race prepped SV650, and he really wanted to get under a 2 minute and 10 seconds, and he caught a pretty nasty high side at turn 10 and went off and lost his life. So even at a racetrack, things can happen. You are never fully, completely outside of risk when you are on a motorized two-wheel vehicle. Right now, if I were to hit something, I would get seriously injured. I'm going 40 miles per hour, dead straight right here, but I am fully in control of this machine, and even though I'm vlogging to you guys, my eyes are completely focused, dead up ahead. You know, that's a track day technique, is always looking as far ahead as you possibly can, and that's something that's going to help your everyday riding. So I don't want you to think that all the stuff that you learn at track days and all the techniques you're going to learn on track don't translate to riding on the road. You know, good throttle control and smooth application of inputs and vision. I think vision is the number one thing that you can take away from a track day. It's just always looking as far ahead as you possibly can. That skill never goes out of style, and that's something you can use literally all the time. Even when you're driving a car, I've noticed that when I'm driving my truck or my car, I'm always looking as far ahead on the road as I can, because you want to be living in the future, anticipating what's coming your way. It really does help to ride like that, and so that's the number one skill that you do learn at the track that does massively help your everyday riding. But I really hope that you guys take the time and go to a track. You know, I think that no matter what kind of rider you are, if you're a dual sport rider, if you're a street rider, if you're just a commuter, I think that attending at least one track day that has actual instruction and people are going to be teaching you while you are there is massively valuable, even if you just go one time. It's the same reason why I think that, you know, attending an off-road school is super important as a motorcyclist. It just helps you understand so much more about two-wheel control, helps you understand your motorcycle, and helps you become more intimate with your motorcycle, which is really fun. That to me is the coolest thing about it. So if you've got just the one bike and it's relatively sport oriented, you know, let's say you got a cool naked bike or something, definitely go and take it out to the track, because you're going to learn and connect so much with that machine, and that's a really cool thing that you can do with your bike. You'll never get that same level of connectedness as you do on a track, as you would on a twisty mountain road or something like that, because there's always a little bit of hesitation when it comes to riding on the street, at least for me, because I've had a couple bad accidents, and you know, I've been down on the track plenty of times. Thankfully never in a race yet. I know it's coming one day, but hopefully it's not going to be that bad. But you know, it's just really important to make sure that you're managing that risk on the road, and I think using your vision is definitely a very great tactic. Now, if I could just take a moment, I could talk about racing. If you guys are making this far in this video, I guess I'll take a second to talk about racing. This is a really different kind of vlog than I normally do on our giveaway bikes. I'm just out here cruising on the desert sled. Hope you guys enjoy this. Racing's really interesting because it fundamentally changed my perspective on track days as well. I started realizing that there's a huge difference between your weekend track day warrior and the guy who goes out and competes, you know, in terms of pace, in terms of seriousness, in terms of motorcycle setup. You know, so much about guys who actually race their motorcycles is just unbelievably different compared to your local weekend track day warrior. And there's nothing wrong with being a track day warrior, and I don't think everybody should race. In fact, I think racing is very much a selective thing, and I don't think everyone has it in them to do it. Sometimes I question whether I have it in me to do it, because I see what is required of me to achieve some of these lap times, and I just don't know if I have it in me. The more I ride and the more comfortable I get on the bike, you know, we're talking literally 2 or 3 seconds that separates me from like competitive novice level lap times on average. But that's the difference between riding well within your limit and just absolutely pushing the ever-loving crap out of your motorcycle and always feeling like you're on a knife's edge waiting to crash at the next corner. I mean, I've been at race events and just seen countless guys wipe out in front of me. That was the reason I got first place in one of my races, because one of the guys that was in front of me jumped the start and he got a 5-second penalty, and I was running third place, and the dude in front of me that was in second completely nuked himself and high-sided off his bike, and his bike got wadded up, and he was okay, thankfully. But then, because of that 5-second penalty and because the front guy eased up a little bit and I caught up to him a little bit, I ended up winning. But it was by a total technicality. I didn't take that checkered flag, you know, first. It wasn't a real first place, in my opinion. However, it still counts, and I got my first place, and that's cool. But, you know, I just think that sometimes what is required of a person to compete on a motorcycle is really nuts. And, you know, between my buddy that lost his life at the racetrack and other guys I know that have gotten seriously injured at the racetrack, just doing track days and racing, sometimes I question if it's worth it. You know, I've got family, I've got friends, I've got a business that I'm running, I'm doing things, I'm living my life, and I don't really want to have a traumatic brain injury or break my leg or, you know, be unable to walk ever again because I was chasing a small number on a small screen on my motorcycle at a random weekend at a random track. You know, those are the types of things that you start really thinking about when you start racing a motorcycle. And that's why for me, I know that I'm probably never going to make it to that expert level class or, you know, even semi-professional, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm never going to even come close to those kind of lap times because I don't think I have it in me. I don't think that I have the ability to just completely throw caution to the wind and chase some small number on a small screen. I've got too much to lose, you know? And that's just a personal choice, but I'm still going to enjoy racing, and I still want to get out there and have fun. But that's the most important thing to me is, you know, packing it up at the end of the day, grabbing myself a cold beer, and enjoying the day that I had and the weekend that I had, and sharing fun stories with my buddies, and just enjoying the weekend. That's what's most important to me. So all of this to say, all of this rambling on my desert, this is why I don't do personal vlogs with you guys, because I end up rambling like a traditional moto vlogger. I like being a little more scripted than this. But all of this to say that track days are very cool, and if you've never done one, massively encourage you to go and check one out. I think it'll really help your riding. But when it comes to seriously competing with your motorcycle and really getting into it and pushing and, you know, developing your craft as a rider and understanding racecraft and all that stuff, you know, really think about it, because it's a very serious thing that we're doing on two wheels here. So with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this more casual, laid-back vlog, and I'll see you later.
Wow, look how pretty this is. You know what else is pretty? My beautiful face and this next Yammy Noob video. Click it right over here and check it out for yourself. There's fun memes in it, maybe Hayabusas, maybe some cool stuff. There's only one way to find out. Click that video. Do it now.